I can't believe the voting bill didn't pass. Now Republicans are going to block minorities from voting. How are they going to do that? Well, they're going to make the voter ID restrictions harder. How does that suppress minority votes? Well, because the way they enforce it, like your address on your voter registration has to match your ID. How does that suppress minority votes? Because, it has to be an exact match. How does that suppress minority votes?
Uh-oh, this is a classic example of a right-winger straw man argument. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he did not have this conversation with a Democrat. Buddy, if you did, I apologize, that person was an idiot, but more likely, you just didn't understand the Democrat you were talking to because you're an idiot. Let's talk about what a straw man argument is, so you can recognize it and combat it when you're in the wild. A straw man argument is when, rather than address your opponent's actual arguments, you make up a weak and distorted version of their argument, or a straw man, and you tear that straw man apart. That way you never have to encounter their actual argument. Because voter ID laws are not about matching the carpet to the drapes or whatever he said. Voting is a right. There shouldn't be barriers between you and your rights. Period. Voter ID laws target the 21 million Americans who don't have the specific type of voter ID that they, on the Republican side of the aisle, deem to be the end-all be-all of whether or not you can vote. And that includes, lo and behold, 25% of African American voters as opposed to 8% of white voters. They are annoyingly strategic about what kind of IDs are okay. For example, in Texas, you're allowed to bring your concealed weapons permit to the polls because Republicans tend to have those, but you can't bring your student ID to the polls because students are more likely to vote for Democrats. Also, a lot of the IDs they say you need to bring cost money, and that's essentially a fee to exercise your right, and it shouldn't cost you anything to exercise your right. That's not how rights should work. Also, it's not solving an actual problem that exists. The only type of fraud voter ID laws would prevent is when you impersonate someone else. How many times has that happened since the year 2000? There have only been 31 credible allegations of that out of the billion votes cast. Yeah, they refer to this as the solution in search of a problem. The only thing it solves is voter turnout. Republicans strategically try to reduce voter turnout because the more people that show up to the polls, the more likely it is a Democrat is going to get more votes. It's just that simple. So no, it's not because of whatever you said, Mcchonks. Can't believe that's your name. Your name is misleading. Mcchonks. I expected you to be some kind of lovable, chunky Scottish dog, but instead you're a unlovable government employee. You're wearing that uniform. Are you making videos like this on the job? Also, why can I see up your nose? I'd say I can see your brain, but thank God you don't have one. It's like a pumpkin after you scoop out the seeds, but before you make it a jack-o'-lantern. So why do Republicans resort to straw man arguments? It's because they can't win actual arguments. Let's explore some of their favorite straw man arguments. Lately, it's critical race theory, which they have misrepresented as any time anyone says anything about race, ever. Because in reality, no one's teaching critical race theory the way they're saying. Republicans like them certainly don't know anything about it, and that's why they sound this stupid all the time.
Judge Jackson, welcome. Critical race theory. Critical race theory. Critical race theory. Marxists, filled and overflowing with critical race theory. Critical race theory, an introduction. But how to be an anti-racist. Anti-racist baby. Babies are taught to be racist. Babies are racist.
Another straw man argument they make, that trans people are always trying to have sex with you in the bathroom. No, people are in the bathroom all around this world for one of two reasons, to go number one or to go number two. They're not there to do whatever it is Marjorie Taylor Greene is implying gay men do. Is trans, what?
And you know what? Pete Buttigieg can take his electric vehicles and his bicycles, and he and his husband can stay out of our girls' bathrooms.
What do you think's gonna happen? Like, that Pete Buttigieg and his husband, who are not trans, are like crashing their Priuses into the ladies' room? What? Right-wingers lie because they can't win in the marketplace of ideas they pretend to love. Of course the right wing loves straw men. Their god king has hair that looks like straw. And of course their straw man arguments are always dumb because they were hatched in the brains of morons like Mcchonks. Feel sorry for you, man. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Give me a hug. You know what I mean? Just send me a hug. A Hershey's hug. No one likes white chocolate, so I'll just eat it. It's cheaper.